Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Mimi and we're here for a ride. This is my first video on this channel and I'm going to be doing a booktube newbie tag. After watching countless people do their booktube newbie tag, I was like, I have to do this. I have to get in on this because I loved listening to every single one of everyone's responses to these questions, and they are also unique, but also eerily similar to mine and how I feel about wanting to join the booktube community. So here I am making my first video, and I'm just gonna get right into it because otherwise I feel like I would never post a video. So the first question is, why did I start this channel? And the answer is kind of simple, really. I'm just here to have a good time. I'm here to meet people, I'm here to document my life, and I'm here to just be here. I think it would be fun like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now to look back on this channel and see where I started, how much I've come, my perspective on a specific book, and how it's changed. And then, honestly, just really to meet like minded people and have someone to talk about books to, since not a lot of people in my life read the kind of books I read, which is mostly romance, a little bit of fantasy, sometimes mysteries and thrillers. Um, Actually, I don't think anyone in my life really reads a lot or as much as I have been. So just finding people to talk about these books with is kind of like my goal. So question number 2 is, what is something unique I can bring to YouTube? And for me, this is my way of documenting my life and showcasing to my friends, keep them up to date with my life almost. So a lot of my videos are going to be personal, gonna try to be fun, and I hope I don't do a lot more sit down like this because I feel like my personality doesn't really get across to the lens as well. But that's for one. The second thing is that I am primarily a ebook reader. So if you're into reading ebooks like me, you'll probably see a lot of footage and clips of me just reading all my ebooks, figuring out where to get my books from. On top of that, I do a lot of like data and stats with my monthly wrap up. So something like the graph that you might see here, if I put it in the background, is that like the monthly graph for how many days I read, how much I read, and seeing the trend over time. So if you like that kind of stuff, my channel is definitely the place. With every monthly wrap up and yearly wrap up, I'll try to showcase all the data I collect. And yeah, keep an eye out for February monthly wrap up. It should be coming up soon, hopefully. This video took a lot of strength to film. I'm still a little bit nervous, so I apologize for the little camera shyness. And yeah, let's get on to the next question. So the next question is, why do I love reading? And it's honestly the different worlds you get to enter and the different lives and the different perspective. For me, I am a romance girly, so I love how a single idea, and it's always the same idea a lot of the times in romance tropes, and I love being able to see the way that different authors are able to execute it and how many different paths or storyline can come from just one specific idea. And that's kind of why I love reading. So the next question is, what book got me into reading? And we can start with what got me into reading most recently, though I think I've always been an avid reader. But I was generally reading manga and light novels prior to this, or prior to 2023, and then I just got sick and tired of the incompleted series. Because if you read manga or light novels, you know that sometimes authors take years or even decades to finish their whole plot, and you're just waiting weeks after weeks for their release, and I got really frustrated. So I got into reading books at the end of 2023, and the first book I picked up was actually The Love Hypothesis right here. Um, and it started off as one of those Spotify features where they give you like 10 hours of audiobook. And I was like, I heard a lot of things from The Love Hypothesis. And I know that this started off as a Raylo fanfiction. And for me, I'm a fanfiction girly. I read a lot of fanfiction growing up. So I was like, surely if it gets published, it's good. And it was amazing. I loved it. I love just how fun in their chemistry, how much of their bickering back and forth is, even though it is a little frustrating that Olive is a bit of a liar the best way to put it. She makes situations for herself worse. But you know what? I love fake dating, and if it gets resolved, like there really isn't a book for it, you know? And sometimes I just like a simple storyline. And it really scratched that romance itch that I had, which is why I had to buy the physical copy. When I found out there was smut in this, I stopped listening to the audiobook because I could never, I would die of embarrassment. So instead, I bought the book and I read that scene, and it was fine. Um, yeah, so the Love Hypothesis got me back into reading, and I just genuinely forgot how much I loved reading until I picked up the book and I read the Love Hypothesis. But like I said, I've always read a lot, like on and off sporadically, a lot of light novels and mangas. But before that, I was an ESL reader. So when I first came to America, ESL, the book and the series that really taught me vocabulary, taught me how to read, and helped my English get to where it is now has to be the Poppy series. So like Poppy, Poppy and Rye, Aerith's Birthday. So I think I'm gonna do a video of reading my childhood books. That series got me into reading. Was it a fantasy? I don't know what it's considered. It's not on top of my head, but it follows the story of a mouse who's trying to take back like or trying to find an area, secure an area for her like tribe. I don't know what they're called. It's been so long, but her family to live, and then she has to fight this big bad owl, and she meets a porcupine along the way, like a grumpy porcupine, and they have this friendship that develops. And I really, really love that series, so I think I'm gonna read it again, even though it's like an elementary school level book. But you know, it is what it is. I just want to re-experience kind of like that childhood again. So yeah. And then of course in middle school, I was a Twilight girly. I wasn't into dystopian novels that much. So I know that during the same time, we had a lot of dystopian novel, for example, like Hunger Games that came out. I wasn't super into that, but I was really, really into Twilight, and that's kind of like where I stumbled into like the fan fiction world as well. And yeah, and now we are here, the same spot. Like 20 years later, it's kind of crazy. Wow, that was a little bit of a tangent for the last question. But the next question is, what will be the hardest part about BookTube or YouTube in general? The editing, uploading the videos. I think I'm a little bit awkward, but I'm gonna try not to be. I really want to share my opinions and my thoughts and kind of like my day-to-day experience, vlog style, all that good stuff. I'm really not here to make a profit. I'm just here to have fun and document my life. So yeah, I think putting things out there and trying to overcome my perfectionism is definitely something that I think having this channel will help me on. And yeah, I think that's probably going to be the hardest challenge, having the like willpower to film and upload and not be super duper awkward. So for the next question is, where do I read? And 80% of the time you will see me reading in my bed. I have a nice little concoction here with my tablet stand that I got from Daiso. I highly recommend you checking it out if you have a Daiso in your area. It's about $4, and I think it works a lot better than some of the tablet tripod stand that I've seen going around on TikTok or Amazon. So yeah, we have that. And then otherwise, I would be reading here at this couch, laying around, rolling around, sometimes with my dog if she wants to come up here. Um, and then, as I said before, I'm trying to reduce my screen time by reading on my tablet or reading on my Kindle instead. So, on the go, generally, if I'm using public transportation, I usually read in versus actually browsing my phone. So, the last question is, what kind of books do I read? And right off the bat, 80 to 90% of it is going to be romance. I'm a romance girly. I'm a sucker for a good romance. As cheesy as it is, or as red flag as it is, or as morally gray as it is, I will probably read almost all romance as long as it's not terribly written. It doesn't matter if it's like a very overthrown or overthrown, overused tropes either. I'm just a sucker for anything romance. But of course, I dabble into fantasy. So fantasy usually it should for me at least have a bit of romance in it because I'm a romance girly. and the world building is solid. Or every now and then, I like to dabble into mystery thrillers. So actually, right now, I was earlier this month, and you'll see this in my monthly wrap up. But earlier this month, I was on such a romance high. Like, I was having the best time of my life in romance. And then I'm a library girly, so I get a lot of my books from Libby. And then one of my books that I put on hold finally came, and it's a mystery thriller. It's like a crime mystery thriller. It has put me in such a reading slump. I think I'm only at 60 or 70% of the way through right now, and I'm really trying to push through it. And then I'm gonna get back to like the light novel series that I've been kind of like hoping to binge. But I was like, this came through, so I should probably read it first. So yeah, you'll probably see kind of like the reading slump with my stats in the March monthly wrap up. But that is it for this video. Let me know down below if you are also a fellow booktuber. I would love to follow you, and I would love to like get to know more people in the booktube community. I'm honestly here to look for more friends who are interested in books, especially romance books, and we can talk and gossip about how like ridiculous some of the stories are, or how crazy hot some of the characters are. And with that, yeah, I'll leave you to it. Goodbye.